Hey guys, so today we are going to be taking a look at the Part 1 characters for the 2024 Worldwide Celebration. Of course, it is BROLY themed. We are just going to jump right into the content here. So they talk about a few things here. We have a new story event, Legendary Super Saiyan BROLY, the Demonic Attack. This is where you can recruit Paragus. This is the free-to-play character of the celebration, it looks like. So this is actually supposedly a pretty decent unit. I actually haven't even looked at his details, but I think he is a support character that can dodge. So we'll see what he looks like. I think, did they talk about his EZA at all? Let me make it a little lower, Jesus.
He can be Dokkan awakened starting from part 1 of the campaign.
Yeah.
Please note that he cannot be Extreme Z awakened during this campaign.
Oh.
He is a must indeed.
So they said he can't eat. Okay, so they're not. That's, you know what? That is actually good that they're doing that, because it means he can just EZA later down the line, and that will make him better in the future. Which, again, that's kind of something that a lot of people have been pushing with free-to-play characters. A lot of times they'll release free-to-play characters, and this is a trend that they've done for a long time. With these big celebrations, is they'll release free-to-play characters, and then literally the same week they release, or like a week later, they'll just EZA them right away, and it kind of just defeats the purpose of having the character even release, or even a Dokkan Awaken, right? Because the character's Dokkan Awakening, and you're never even going to use their pre-EZA form, because they just EZA instantly. So this Paragus supposedly being pretty good before his EZA means we could use him now, and then he could have another period of being good when he gets his EZA at some point in the future. So I think that's a good way to look at this. That to me is an example of Dokkan listening to feedback, because I imagine a lot of people probably mention this on surveys and stuff like that. So that is very good to see. Then of course we have the limited attempts event where we can get stones. Just do this every day. It's just, you know, typical thing. It's like the launch event, but it's obviously themed around BROLY now. Next, we have the Skill Orb event. This is the Uncontrollable Saiyan of Mystery. This is once every 7 days. So I imagine they're probably going to increase the amount of Skill Orbs that we get from this, because typically Skill Orb events are once per day. So this is going to be once every 7 days. So probably going to give us a lot more drops, but we have to do this less often, which I think is fine. Here is the new difficult event, the Tremble with Fear, the Devil Awakens. Reign victorious against formidable foes to get awesome rewards. This to me sounds like, so from last year we had the like the Gods versus Mortal event, where it was themed obviously around Zamasu and Trunks and Goku Black and stuff like this. 2 years ago we had a similar thing. It was like the Pride of the Wicked Bloodline, or whatever the hell it is. Super long name for the event. That's probably what this is going to be. Omatsu does mention there are going to be certain bonus characters that will allow you to deal bonus damage to the BROLY. BROLY will be weaker against certain characters. He'll be stronger against other characters. So you can kind of customize how the difficulty of the fights will go depending on who you have in your group. So that's the standard thing for that. We will have a new Supreme Magnificent Battle event against movie editions. Probably just going to be very hard. This is probably going to be the newest toughest event in the game. It's kind of weird on Global right now. We only got half of the Universe Survival Saga Supreme Magnificent Battle because they didn't release Jiren, so this is kind of a strange time here, but we are going to get a new Supreme Magnificent Battle here, which again I assume is going to be the newest hardest event in the game. Okay, so we are going to start things off with Goku, Trunks, and Gohan. We could take a look at the animations here together. I guess I can do some reactions here. Let's take a look. So here's the 12-key super. I think this does look pretty good. This character has very good animations, and they did do some Dokkan original stuff as well. They kind of mix some of that in here. So there is Goku. This is the Kamehameha does against BROLY that doesn't do anything. So I don't know how I feel about this, because like we know this does nothing to BROLY, but it's still cool looking. Still cool looking. Here is where they bring in some of the Dokkan original stuff. I'm pretty sure this is Dokkan original right here. The double Masenko plus Kamehameha from Goku. I don't remember them doing this in the movie, unless I just don't remember the movie that well. Look at that. That is, I think that's all new. They did. Okay, hold on. Before we get into this, I of course play in JP dub, but I do still enjoy the English dub. I grew up on the English dub. I am an English dub enjoyer. They did a very very good job with this. The English dub for this active skill and this standby is probably one of the best in the entire game. They did a really good job with this.
Give me the power to put this guy down for the count.
Okay. And this is the finisher.
Fine, just take it. But finish that guy now!
That looks really good. That this windscreen is crazy too. Watch this. Here it is. And Goku lands in the capsule spaceship. Yeah, I love that. Okay. A lot of people are gonna talk about this one sequence where Goku's like flying towards the camera. This right here, like I don't know. This is hilarious. I don't think this particularly looks that bad. I don't know why, but for some reason it just always makes me laugh when I see this. Okay, let's take a look at the actual details here. So this is Fierce Clash of Burning Power, Super Saiyan Goku, and Super Saiyan Gohan Youth, and Super Saiyan Trunks Teen. So probably never going to get another character that has the same name as this character, which is good. So their leader skill, this is an insane leader skill. All Out Struggle, Super Saiyans, or Power of Wishes, 3 key 170. And then 30% to Connected Hope and Movie Hero. That is nuts. That is a crazy leader skill. They did a very good job with this leader skill here. All right, super attacks. We have the 12 key is the Raging Waltz. Raise attack for 1 turn, colossal damage, and lowers attack and defense. Let me actually get rid of this captions for now. The 18 key is the Triple Key Wave. Greatly raise attack and defense for 3 turns. Mega Colossal, and then raises super class allies attack and defense by 30% for 1 turn. So they don't actually gain defense on their 12 key, but I guess sort of to make up for that, their 18 key is crazy. 3 turns of a great raise, and then 30% to super class allies attack and defense for 1 turn. Keep in mind, it does not specify in this that effect excludes this character. So this character, not only are they getting a 50% raise for 3 turns, they're also getting a 30% raise for 1 turn. So it's technically a 1 turn 80% raise essentially on this, which is really, really good. Okay, so their passive is pretty long. So I did take a look at this during the premiere of this video, but whenever they do these premieres, these passives are so elaborate that I can't really follow unless I just like pause and read this out loud. So let's take a look at this. Fierce Clash. Key +3 in attack and defense plus 200%. Okay. Randomly changes key spheres of a certain type, physical excluded, to physical key spheres. Okay, so they're a physical orb changer. Then they get an additional key +2 per physical key sphere. So they're getting 4 key in total per physical key sphere, which is obviously very good. And because they're also changing orbs to physical. Then they get an additional 1 key per type key sphere obtained. So if they get like an AGL key sphere, they're just going to get 2 key. Sure. All allies gain key +3 and attack plus 50%, self-excluded. So everyone on the rotation, besides this character, is getting 50% attack and 3 key. Just every character. That's pretty good, obviously. And then reduces damage received by 30% temporarily when receiving a super attack. So the wording here implies to me that they're only going to be receiving 30% less damage from supers. And then after they receive that super attack, they're going to go back to not having that 30% damage reduction anymore. So, I mean, they're going to be taking extra damage from normals. The one area where that really can be an issue, I think, is if they get AoE'd. I mean, I guess we don't know technically if this character is going to be taking more damage before they attack or not. Let's keep going. Plus an additional defense plus 30% when receiving an attack for every 3 key. For every 3 key. So what that means, I think, is if this character is at 24 key, that's 8 times 30. That's 240% extra defense, I think, is what that means. You have 240% extra defense if you have 24 key when you're getting attacked. It's obviously very good. Then they get an additional attack plus 150% when key is 12 or more. Launches 2 additional attacks, each of which has a high chance of becoming a super attack. Okay, when key is 18 or more, which shouldn't really be an issue for this character key. Attacks effective against all types when ki is 24. If there's another movie, heroes, or all-out struggle category ally attacking in the same turn, plus an additional damage reduction of 15%. And for 2 turns, all allies gain 77% defense. That is obviously going to include themselves. For 2 turns, that is very good. So, I mean, you just run this character next to any other movie hero unit. Beast Gohan, Gogeta, like there's Gamma, like there's some top tier movie hero characters now. Plus, of course, we're gonna get part 2 characters from this, which are also gonna be movie heroes, assuming we don't just get like 2 Brolys, right? Okay. So I'm just trying to look here. The one area that I could maybe point out. So they get a multiplicative attack buff, right? When it says plus an additional attack plus 150% when ki is 12 or more, that is a multiplicative buff because that is calculated when they super. I'm not seeing any multiplicative defense buffs here, which could certainly be an issue. But they are just getting a lot of defense straight away, right? They're getting, okay, so they're getting 200% defense here. They're getting, again, assuming, let's just assume you have 24 ki. They're getting 240% more defense here. That's 440% defense. Then they're also getting 77% defense here, assuming you have a movie hero or all-out struggle. So they're essentially getting over 500% defense when you have all those conditions met. But they're not guarding, and they don't have any multiplicative defense buffs. I mean, they technically do have a multiplicative defense buff, but it's tied to their super attack effect, right? But this is a monster super attack effect, so sure. And then they have damage reduction. So it's going to be 30% and then 15. So assuming you have the movie hero character, they're going to have 45% damage reduction versus super attacks. To me, this character actually does kind of feel like they are built to handle, so they're going to 18 key super. They're going to be getting their 80% super attack effect defense off of this. Then they're going to have 45% damage reduction versus supers. I feel like they should be able to handle some big time supers, actually. We'll see. It's not really going to be something I can tell until we see what their numbers are looking like in game here. All right, and then they have, they talk about this for a long time. Then we have their standby. So let's just talk about the conditions first. So it can be activated when HP is 77% or less, or starting from the 5th turn from the start of battle. No issues at all there with the conditions. These are pretty solid conditions. Nothing to complain about with that. Standby skill. So stands by for 3 turns during which charge count increases by 3 with each attack received, by 2 per key sphere obtained by allies, and by 1 per non-physical key sphere obtained by allies. So they are going to be gradually increasing their charge counts, and then as we'll see in a second with the standby version of this character, they're going to be doing more damage depending on how many charge counts they have. So again, similar to like the Spirit Bomb 8th anniversary unit, similar to the Gammas with their standby finisher. But they have a lot of different ways to gain charge counters. Obviously, when I think it's only when this character gets hit, they get 3 charge counters, and then for every physical key sphere, you know what the insane part about this? 2 charge counts per physical key sphere obtained by allies, because obviously that includes this character plus everyone on the team. That is a lot. Like, remember, this character is physical orb changing, and if you're running them on their own team, you have 2 of these guys together. So, I mean, we could theoretically be talking about like 90 plus charge counts for this character until they can use their finisher. That is really insane. Okay, so we're going to move on to the standby version here. So this is Let's Join Forces. Unable to attack except with finish skill, so he can't, do a super attack. Key plus 3, attack and defense 259%, and guards. So there's the guard. Changes int key spheres to physical key spheres, plus an additional key plus 2 per key sphere obtained, per physical key sphere obtained, plus an additional key plus 1 per non-physical key sphere obtained, which is going to include Rainbow. Plus an additional defense plus 30% when receiving an attack for every 3 key. The reason why that I think is important. So if we compare the wording there, I know I'm doing a lot of like nitpicking here, but I think it's important to point this out. Oh, actually, I didn't even realize the wording on this. I think No, I think this is a multiplicative defense buff right here. Plus an additional defense plus 30% when receiving an attack for every 3 key. Because it's when receiving it. Yeah, so that should be multiplicative, actually. Yeah. Okay, I actually didn't, for some reason I didn't notice that when I was reading this initially. Okay, so that is a multiplicative defensive buff. I'm like 90% sure. Because it's calculated when this character is hit, which is going to be in the middle of the turn, after all the start of turn buffs are calculated. So that is actually going to be really strong. Okay, yeah, this character actually does seem much better than I was originally thinking they would be. But this character is going to maintain that same mechanic, 30% defense for every 3 key. And a key is 24 when receiving an attack, reduces damage received by 59%. So they're going to have guard. This guy's going to have guard, 59% damage reduction. And then some insane, like, okay, he's going to have what? 240% multiplicative defense with guard, 59% damage. He's not taking damage. This character's simply not taking damage. Plus an additional defense plus 20% per key sphere obtained, and all allies defense plus 7% for 2 turns per physical key sphere obtained. So he's also giving allies defensive support for 2 turns. So if you get, let's just say you get 5 physical key spheres, right? I would say that would honestly be a pretty poor turn. 5 key spheres, considering he's also orb changing to key spheres, or orb changing to physical key spheres. That would be 35% 2-turn defensive support for the whole team. Plus an additional attack plus 100% when finish effect is activated. And then if we take a look at the actual finish effects, of course, he's going to have 2 finish effects. I don't think they showed the normal finish effect. We didn't see the animation for that, but we saw the one after this. So this is the normal one. If you don't get 40 charge counts, which I really don't see how that's even possible with this character. Raise attack by 15% temporarily per charge count and causes ultimate damage. Then the main one you're going to see is when you have 41 or more charge counts, you're going to be raising your attack by 20% per charge count and doing super ultimate damage. So this is what we're really looking for. This is going to be doing some real damage. Now, the only thing to mention with this is this character in the standby mode does not have crits or effective against all types built in. So there is certainly an argument for this character to be going crit. Additional could be effective, but it's really not going to help this character much in standby. And I don't really know if they need much dodge. So I'm thinking this is like a rare instance where crit actually could be like what I'm going to go on this character, because to see this crit, you're going to be doing tons and tons of damage with this. So maybe that's what I'm going to do. We'll see. All right, so that's this character. Let's go ahead and move on to BROLY. We have BROLY's intro here. Let's go ahead and play this. Paragus. Okay, so this is like lore behind why BROLY starts as just a base form BROLY, right? It's Paragus basically restraining him and preventing him from transforming. So here we have base form BROLY, and the good thing about him being base form BROLY is there is no good base form BROLY in the game, so we don't have to worry about the same name situation here. Here is categories. Obviously he's on a lot of teams. There is a new category called Uncontrollable Power. And it's interesting because this BROLY doesn't lead the new category. So I imagine part 2 will probably be giving us a leader. Probably the Dokkan Fest BROLY in part 2 will lead that new category, at least for one of his categories that he leads. So this guy's actually leading movie bosses. That could be very interesting. Movie boss, 200%. I mean, it's still, like, at this point, I would say that Carnival LR characters' leader skills are a little bit limited, because at this point, only leading one category is pretty... Unless it's like superhero, it's pretty limited. Especially when you have Dokkan Fest characters like the character we just looked at, who's leading like 3 crazy categories, and then they're giving the additional stats to 2 other like pretty expansive categories. So this is a good category for BROLY to lead. I just don't really know how many good movie bosses there are right now. I mean, like Cellmax, of course you can use him. AGL BROLY you can use. Hirudegarn. I mean, I'll have to take a look at the list, but there are a few good ones. Obviously, Cellmax is insane, but this BROLY is insane, and AGL BROLY is very strong. But other than those 3, like, who really are we looking at? We'll see. I'll try and build some teams here for BROLY, but we'll see. All right, so here's the passive. Let me actually move my camera up so you guys can see this. Surge of emotions, unable to attack. So right away, we see that, and it's like, okay, well, kind of sucks, but wait. Activates the entrance animation upon the character's entry once only, and for 1 turn from the character's entry turn, reduces damage received by 90% as the first attacker in a turn, reduces damage received by 70%, and extreme class allies' chance of performing a critical hit plus 50% as the second or third attacker in a turn, and extreme class allies key +2 and attack and defense plus 60%, defense plus 200%, and guards all attacks. What a monster. Yeah, this guy, okay. This is what we were us villain fans have been patiently waiting for this exact kind of character. This is the villain glue that we need, I think, for at least for now. So something I'll be mentioning about this Broly probably a lot, not just in this video, but as we move forward throughout the celebration and they continue to make videos covering Dokkan during the worldwide celebration, and honestly probably even further here. The best thing, in my opinion, about this Broly is the fact that he essentially has no conditions at all. He is conditionless. His entire kit has basically 0 conditions. We can even see it right now with the entrance animation. He doesn't need certain characters on his team to do the entrance animation. It doesn't need to be, oh, you need to have 4 movie bosses, or you need to have 4 planetary destruction. Like, he just enters the battlefield, turn 1, boom, his intro's on, no conditions. Really, really good. But yeah, that's insane. 50% crit. 50% crit to extreme class allies as the second or third attacker. And I mean, that's like that's like I gotta alter my builds for characters. I mean, that is that significantly lowers the necessity of you needing crit on a lot of villain characters you're going to be running with this Broly. Like I gave my AGL Dragon Ball Super Broly a lot of crit. I gave my LR Cell Max a lot of crit. If you're running them next to this Broly, you can argue you don't really need the crit on them anymore. So that potentially is something to consider. But I mean, he's an unkillable character turn 1. He cannot be touched turn 1. I mean, the support to I mean, this is how you build a character like this for extreme class. This is exemplary design. Okay, and then here again, another example of no conditions. Active skill transform. Active skill conditions can be activated upon entering attacking turn. Boom. Just turn 1 if you wanted to. Turn 1, you could transform with Broly. Right? That's okay. You could. Turn 1, you could just do it. Let me just double check something. Yeah, so the entrance buff is only going to activate for 1 turn. So clearly what I think they're trying to promote here is for the first turn, you stay as base Broly, get the effects of this intro buff here. And then on the second rotation, you just transform. And there's no conditions. You cannot be stopped from transforming. There's like nothing that can happen to prevent you from transforming. So, all right, let's take a look at his transformation animation, and then we'll also see some of his super attack animations here.
Transformation to super attack.
Yeah, this does look really good. This final shot looks really good, where they like pan up and shows his full art. Yeah, like right here. You can tell that's definitely improved over the tech one. Here's his 12 key. Meteor Crush. I will say a lot of this Broly's super attack animations, I mean, this is clearly the case, will look better and are certainly designed to be played in 2x speed. But they still look pretty good anyway. All right, then here's his 18. No, active skill. Okay. This might be my new favorite active skill because we get to kill Paragus. I know exactly what I'm going to be doing in my 55% showcase for this Broly. I'm going to dedicate a segment of that video to me just killing Paragus like 100 times. Just going to reset the turn. I'm going to play this active skill and I'm going to reset the turn. And I'm just going to put the game in like 5 times. I'm gonna put in my editing software. I'll put it at like 5 times speed, and we'll kill Paragus like 100 times. This is active skill so crazy. I actually really like that they put this on the character. It's completely embracing the meme
So
here.
he can escape the explosion. And a rocket built for one person.
The reflection's pretty cool here. Goes ahead. He just goes ahead and kills Paragus. Yeah. All right, and here's his 18 key super. This is actually an AoE, by the way. Blaster a meteor. And then Goku just gets annihilated by that. And here you can see the AoE. So technically you can, if you wanted to, use him during the World Tournament, which is very fitting for Broly. He's always been the king of World Tournament. And there's the KO screen there. So there are Broly's animations. Let's go ahead and see what he does when he transforms here. So the super attacks, we have the 12 key Meteor Crush. Raises attack and defense for 1 turn and causes colossal damage to enemy. Ultra super attack is the Blaster Meteor. Greatly raise attack and cause mega colossal damage to all enemies. So he is actually greatly stacking attack on his 18 key AoE super, which is pretty nice. All right, here is a very, very intricate passive. I mean, when you read it, it's really not that complicated, but a lot of words here. Outburst of Instinct. Key +3, attack and defense plus 260%. Reduce damage received by 50%, that is just base. And for 3 turns from the character's entry turn, he gets an additional 26% damage reduction. So he is basically starting with 76% damage reduction. That's going to be lasting for 3 turns. So remember, turn one, this Broly's entering with 90% damage reduction in slot 1. I mean, no matter where you put him, that base Broly is not really taking, like, he cannot take damage. Even in slots 2 and 3, where he's got 70% damage reduction, he's still got 200% defense. He's still guarding. He's not taking damage. So he's basically immortal turn 1. Then when you transform with him on the next turn, he's going to have 2 rotations of 76% damage reduction. That's pretty dumb, okay? Do I need to even say it? Plus an additional attack and defense plus 150% when performing a super attack. And then he gets 1 key up to 5 and a 10% chance to crit up to 50% with each attack performed. So he is going to be building up his key and crit whenever he does attacks. Launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack within the same turn after receiving an attack. So clearly they want you to put him in slot 1, and we'll see that here as well. He gets 200% defense before attacking and guards all attacks as the first attacker in a turn. So they want you to clearly put him in slot 1. Again, guarding in slot 1. He's got 76% damage reduction. He's getting an additional 200% defense in slot 1. Yeah. Launches an additional super attack as the second or third attacker in a turn. So that's a guaranteed super. And then he's getting an additional 3 key and a 50% chance to crit when there is a pure Saiyan or Earthbred Fighters category enemy. And then he's going to disable the attacked enemy's action once within the turn when key is 24. So basically what this means is when you're fighting a pure Saiyan or an Earthbred Fighter enemy, he's getting a 100% chance to crit, assuming you have crit built all the way up to 50% here. Now, the interesting thing to note about this Broly is if you are actually fighting multiple enemies, which I think probably is going to be the case in Supreme Magnificent Battle, this new Supreme Magnificent Battle stage, because it's going to be against the characters that fought Broly, right? We have Goku, Trunks, Gohan, Piccolo, Vegeta. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a stage that literally you fight all of them at the same time. This Broly having an AoE means that you can actually build all of these up. So, right, technically it says when performing, with each attack performed. Because this character has an AoE, the way this is going to work is as long as you AoE and hit, let's say you hit 5 enemies with an AoE, it's going to give you the full 5 key and 50% critical hit from just that one AoE, because you're hitting 5 enemies. So that is a pretty good way to synergize this character's AoE super with that part of his passive there. But yeah, there's basically Broly. We haven't talked about his active skill yet, but here it is. It is essentially a buff. Obviously, that crushing the pod is not going to be an attack, right? That would have been funny if it was, I guess. So it can be activated starting from the next attacking turn. Again, basically no condition at all. And then for the rest of the fight, he's giving himself 3 key and 26% attack and defense. So just an extra buff to himself. This Broly is going to be doing pretty damn insane numbers all around. And that essentially is going to wrap things up in terms of the new characters. We also do see that they're going to be easying the Int Dokkan Fest Legendary Super Saiyan Broly from Saiyan Day. I don't remember the exact, was it 20? Is he 2020 or 2020? I think it might be 2021, actually, this Broly. I don't remember the exact year. Was that a 2020 or 2021? But this is good because this Broly should obviously link up very well with the LR Broly. And of course, they have different names, so they'll work pretty well together. And eventually, we're going to get the Tech Broly, who also has a different name, because we're going to have just Broly, Legendary Super Saiyan Broly, and Super Saiyan Broly. So they're all going to link up together. Now, the last thing I want to talk about before we end, I know this is a long video, but there's lots to talk about here, is the special worldwide celebration summon system. They're actually adding this for the first time. I've never seen this before. So let's quickly go through what they say here. So you can exchange 500 coins for a new featured character. That is insane. During the event period, Dokkan Festival Coin Worldwide Celebration can be exchanged for Carnival Coin Worldwide Celebration and vice versa. The Worldwide Celebration coins obtained from the summons in Part 1 can also be obtained from the summons in Part 2 and be exchanged for characters and items. So the way this is going to work is there are going to be 2 new coins introduced during this celebration specifically, and then they're going to go away. The 2 coins, as you can see on your screen, I mean, this is a very good way to explain this just looking at the diagram here. We have like sort of this rainbow red coin and the rainbow teal coin. And what those are those coins are specific to this worldwide celebration. And you can take 500 of the rainbow red coin or 500 of the rainbow teal coin and exchange either of them for their respective characters. Now, because Broly is a carnival character, you can exchange 500 of the rainbow teal coins for Broly, or you can take 500 of the rainbow red coins and exchange them for Goku, Trunks, and Gohan. And if you decide to summon on both banners and you have, let's say you have 300 red coins and 200 teal coins, you can swap to, all of the red ones to teal or all the teal ones to red and pool your resources together and purchase a character if you want to. And they also mentioned that you'll be able to use these in Part 2 as well. So you can actually purchase one of the, like, let's say you summon for Goku and you actually end up pulling all the copies that you want of Goku, but you have enough coins to then buy another copy of Goku. Instead of doing that, you can actually use those coins to buy a copy of whatever character is going to be a Dokkan Fest LR in Part 2. So there, this is a pretty interesting system. It is going to be expensive, right? I mean, I'm not going to deny that. This is going to be spend 2,500 Dragon Stones to get a guaranteed copy of a character, which is certainly a very high ceiling for pity, but this is a step in the right direction for this game that does not have pity at all right now. There is no way to guarantee, up until now, there has been no way to guarantee that you obtain the new character besides those legendary summon banners. So this is, again, I think this is a step in the right direction. It is very expensive. I'm not denying that. I definitely agree with people that are saying, oh my God, this is so expensive. Like, sure, I'm not going to say you're wrong, because it is. But this is still a very good change that they're making here. And I think this is, if they're going to do this moving forward, I would be certainly in favor of this. But especially on global right now, if you're somebody who has been summoning a lot of banners, of course, just coming out of the anniversary, then we got UI Goku, he's got Topo, he's got Cell Max, now we're jumping into, like, it's been insanity on global. So I can definitely understand if you don't have really much resources to dedicate to the celebration on global. But that essentially is going to wrap up the Dokkan Now announcement here for the Part 1 Worldwide 2024 characters. Let me know down below what you guys think of Goku, Trunks, and Gohan, and Broly, as well as the new summon system. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.